Hey YouTube, it's Neil. How's it going? In this video, I'm going to show you 7 ways to break out of the box, and one of them I just would not recommend at all. So let's check it out. If you haven't been to the channel before, if you're anything like me and you're obsessed with learning to understand the guitar in the simplest way possible so you can, play at a high level and improvise, which is my passion, then you're in the right place. You might want to subscribe and like and do all the things. All right. So anyway, let's get to breaking out of the pentatonic box. All right. I love the pentatonics, and they can do so much more than most people really think about. They think they learn that one shape and then that's it, and they move on. To get better, they have to learn a bunch of different scales and the modes, and learn harmonic minor and dominant minor, and is that even a thing? Dominant Lydian, Lydian dominant. You don't need that. You don't need all that. I mean, if you want to play certain types of music, yeah, you do. But for like most things, 80% of music, all you need is the pentatonics, and I'm going to show you how to do that today. So let's take an easy progression. All right, something that is common, like a G, C, and D. All right, G, C, and D, G. We'll go back and forth. All right. So let me do a little loop here. 1 second. All right. C, D. All right. Sounds good. So what some people might do, and this is the one I don't recommend, right? They look at that progression, and they go, oh, the first chord's G, so I'm gonna play a G pentatonic, right? And what they do is they grab that first shape that they know, this one. Right? They're like, oh, it's on G, it's pentatonic, and I'm gonna jam on it. Now listen to how this sounds. Now brace yourselves. I take no responsibility for any discomfort you feel just now. So let's check this out. Okay, I'm sorry that I had to do that. Yeah, my apologies. So the reason that sounds so wonky and outrageously bad is because I'm playing G major to C major to D major, and all of those chords exist in the key of G major, right? So their thought process was correct. Like, oh, this is in G, I'm going to play in G. But instead of playing in G minor, which is what you're doing when you play here, you want to play in G major. All right. So if you don't know how to do that with a pentatonic, like they're all the same shapes, the easy way to think about it is this. Like if you start your minor pentatonic on G, on this note, this finger, you want to start on this finger, right? So you have to slide that down and then start your pentatonic right there. And you might say, oh, Neil, that's E pentatonic. Well, you're right. It's E minor pentatonic because you're starting on the E note. But E minor pentatonic is also the G major pentatonic. You might already know that. You might not. If not, that's a huge revelation, right? Like you know these 5 shapes, but now you can use them as major or minor. So let's take it up here to the 12th fret, because that's the same as doing it down here at the 1st fret. Right? Now I'm going to jam on just that. So this is the 2nd level. I wouldn't recommend the 1st level. The 2nd level works all right. You're just going to play in G major pentatonic over all 3 chords. All right, here we go. All right, that sounds way better, right? Because all the notes that I'm playing, for the most part, are gelling with the notes that are in those chords. So the other ones I was playing and the notes here, and I'm playing over here, like right next to it. So you end up with this sort of like, that sort of thing going on sometimes, where you hit a note and it's so close to another note in the chord that they're fighting each other, and you don't want that. So that's the second way. You can take one pentatonic chord scale and play over all 4 chords or 3 chords, whatever it is, as long as it's diatonic. What's diatonic? Diatonic means they're all within one scale, right, or key. Like in that case, your G is your 1 chord from the key of G. Your 4 is your 4 chord. I mean, your C is your 4 chord. Your D is your 5 chord, right? You also have like an A minor is your 2, so if you played that, it would still work. B minor is your 3, and then E minor, that's your 6 chord. And you also have an F diminished or half diminished, but we won't talk about that. We don't talk about the 7 chord. All right, not today anyway. So that's part 2, right? So that's if you just stay in that shape. You can do the first shape here, and you're gonna be fine. Now, another step of breaking out of the box is this. You have 5 other shapes, right? So if you were able to flow through the shapes, you're gonna open up the whole neck to yourself, right? That's why it's worth learning all 5 shapes. So if I start here, and then I can move around. All right, I can just jam on that all day. That sounds wonderful, right? Because you're still just in the key. You're flowing through all the shapes. You're moving around the neck, and that lends to creativity just because the way that the shapes are laid out, you can move your fingers in different ways, and it just brings out different phrases and stuff and licks. So that's number 3. Number 4 is something I love to do. Now, this is what I teach in my course. This is when you take it to the next level, maybe a couple levels even beyond. But what you're gonna do is, we got G major, and we play the G major pentatonic. Then for the C, instead of playing G major pentatonic, why not play C major pentatonic, right? So you switch your shapes. Now, if I stayed here, this would be the second shape of the pentatonic for G, right? Because the first shape is here in E minor. So we consider the second shape to be the major shape. And for C, in this case, I go to the 5th shape. And then for the D, in this area of the neck, I go to the 4th shape. Now, you could just take that second shape and move it around. So there's like G, and then move it up to the C here. And then the D here. Maybe that should be the 4th. All right, we can use that as the 4th level. I'm just making this up as I go. So I'll jam on that. Ready? All right, that sounds great. It sounds to me even better because each of those notes I'm playing are gelling even more with the chord underneath, right? Especially the C and the D, because now they're totally grabbing all the chord tones plus a couple color tones there. But that's, you know, you have to jump around. You're almost, I mean, you're moving the box in this case. You're moving it up here for the C, you're moving it up here for the D, and then you're back here, or move it up to the octave of the G is what I did there the second time. And that's cool. But, you know, you don't always want to be jumping back and forth, right? So the next step, we'll call this level 5, is you stay in one place, like I was saying. So here's your second shape. Here's your fifth shape. Here's your fourth shape for the D. And then back to the G, the second shape. Now listen to how this sounds. It's all in the same spot. And yeah, let's give it a shot. One more time. Right? So that sounds cool. Now I don't have to worry about jumping around. That's when you can kind of start taking the neck and really seeing how things change, like from G to C. It's these two notes that change. So like if you were doing a G major scale, that was your approach if you wanted to do that way, which doesn't work for me, but that's what you would do. You'd have to like play the notes from G major, and when C comes around, instead of playing this note, you have to focus on that note. You know, so essentially we're doing the same thing, but approaching it from a different like view or, you know, path, whatever, direction. Anyway, it makes it easier for me to understand, okay, I just moved that note there for C, and that would also mean I have to move that one there. And then when you go to D, both of these move down, back to G. So that's cool, right? So that's level 5, do we say? I think so. Now, you're just still using pentatonics. You're just using them in different ways. Now, level 6, I suppose, is like what we did before. We're going to switch scales, but now we're not just going to be in one position, and we're not going to just be moving it. We're going to be flowing throughout all 5 shapes in real time. So when I'm jamming on G, I'm flowing through, and then when I get to C, it's like musical chairs. I got to find my chair, find the C scale, jam on there and flow around. And when it comes to D, I got to find the D pentatonic, major pentatonic, and flow through that. And this takes a while to kind of get used to, but it's so much easier than trying to identify like which notes out of the modes you're supposed to play at which time and stuff like that. For me, maybe not for you. If I know a lot of people the other approach works for, but it never worked for me after decades of trying. But all right, so I'm going to do that. I'm going to flow around the neck, switching pentatonics over each chord. Let's give it a shot. Yeah, what about fast notes, Neil? I went to D instead of C. Let me try it again. Here we go. Here we go. without a net here. So that's the idea. All right, cool. That's 6 levels. I promised you 7. Now, this is a cool thing that you can do because you have the architecture of the pentatonics, right? Like I know all those notes work, but I'm still just playing the pentatonics. Now, to truly break out of the box, you can do cool things. You know, you don't have to stick to the pentatonics strictly. They're the frame of your house, as Guthrie Trapp would say, right? Or he would say it's drywall, it's the pentatonics, and that makes sense. And you want to hang some pictures on the wall. You want to make it your own, and that's what you do with the neighbor notes and chromatic notes. Like on the pentatonics, you have these shapes. You can fill in those middle notes. I like to do like a lower neighbor. It always gets attention when you do this. So I'm playing just this, the second shape. So I would go. So I'm just playing the note and then the note below it and sliding back up. Let me try it with the track. Right? G. Super simple. Kind of hard when you're trying to switch scales and stuff, and that's something I'm still working on, man. I'm still on my own journey. I'm just maybe a couple steps ahead of you, maybe not. If not, reach out to me because I want to take lessons from you. I'm still trying to improve, you know. So anyway, I hope that helps. There's 7 ways to break out of the box. First is playing the wrong scale over the wrong chord. Don't do that. Second is playing the right scale, match the major and minor, match the tonality with the scale, all right? That's bare minimum. Then next is flowing through the shapes. Learn all 5 shapes and how you can go through all of them. And then next after that is to switch chords, right? Switch scales per chord, even by simply just moving that shape. If you're in minor and you're switching to different chords, get used to just moving around that first string, you know, that one shape. That's one shape, different parts of the neck. And then the next one is one part of the neck, different shapes, where you're just switching shapes and staying in position. The next level is to switch chords like that, switch scales, but flow through all 5 shapes of those, just like you would, in time with the chords. And then the last one is to kind of break free. Don't be limited by the pentatonics. They're just a guidepost. You know, anything you play there is going to sound great. So it allows you the freedom and the courage, the confidence to reach out beyond the pentatonics and, you know, incorporate different, color tones, neighbor notes, chromatics, if you will, whatever you want to call them. You can throw those in there and always know you can land on your feet when you get back to the pentatonics and stuff. So if it was helpful to you to hear this, that makes me happy. I just want the best for you guys and pass on the guitar and feel some of the freedom I feel. Let me know if you have any questions about upcoming videos, things I can help you with, questions about this video that you didn't understand, or maybe I could explain better, because Lord knows I can definitely do that. I could definitely try harder, but I will talk to you later. Keep on picking and be good to one another, all right? All right, take care. Bye-bye.